Welcome back, True Seeker. Apologies for the very late start. Right as I was about to go live, got a phone call, and then shortly after the news broke about RFK Jr. and Donald Trump's video call that supposedly RFK Jr.'s son, Bobby Kennedy III, posted on social media this morning that was later taken down. So we're going to get into that as well. That wasn't a planned part of this stream, and it's not in the title, but I just had to put a post together for that, and it took longer than I intended, so apologies. But Joe Bryant, the father of Kobe Bryant, of course, when Kobe passed tragically January 26, 2020, we talked about the significance of him passing at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the 41st day of the Pope's age. Again, if you're new here, I have a book that I wrote in 2017, 3 years before Kobe died, about how Kobe's career was defined by the number 41. When he scored his career high 81, the rest of his team scored 41. In his last game, when he scored 60, the rest of his team scored 41. And then if you watch the highlight of him coming off the court, he comes off the court and they have the clock paused right at 4.1 seconds. Can you learn gematria? You realize Kobe Bryant equals 41. LA equals 41. 41's the 13th prime. We know what happened to his daughter as well at age 13. And yeah, the Joe Jellybean Bryant, the father, and Kobe, they're a Pennsylvania family. So much of the focus of the world is on Pennsylvania right now and what happened there. Kamala speaking in Philly, Kobe in Joe's town, and then that same day, just outside of Pittsburgh, Trump has a brush with death on the 13th of the month, right under the 13 stripes. Perfect photo op. Amazing the way it all worked out. But if you missed the coverage of Kobe's death, I've written a book since he passed, Number Games, an updated book with about an 80-page chapter on his passing, and there's a big section on his father and where again, Kobe retired 41 years after his father was drafted by the Golden State Warriors. And you might recall that the day of Kobe's last game, on ESPN1, they were playing Kobe's last game, and on ESPN2, they were playing the Warriors, eclipsing the Bulls' 72 record win season, setting the new mark at 73, when, of course, Steph Curry's born on the 73rd day of the year, born in the same hospital as LeBron, who he faced in 4 straight NBA Finals. So much more to say about that. Nate Thurman, who played for the Warriors and Cavs, drops dead right after the Cavs win the second of those finals when the Warriors and Cavs had each won one. Anyway, not to mention the year that Kobe died, the Lakers won the finals. It was the COVID season. The finals were in October, 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday. They won it on Father-Daughter Day. Look it up. After Kobe and his daughter died, 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday. They call LeBron the king. King's another one of those 41 words. But yeah, there was so much to Joe Bryant in Kobe's death. There were a lot of things about Kobe's death, but just this major overlap with the father and son. And yeah, I could talk for hours about Kobe's death, but here's a big one. This news breaks at the beginning of this morning, and none of these stories, they're saying he had a recent stroke. They said he had a recent stroke, and just shortly after that, he's passed, and the news is broken this morning. But I couldn't read in any of these stories when it specifically stated that he passed. That normally it'll say he died early Tuesday morning with his family around him, or he died late Monday night with his family around him. So far, these stories have not established the date. But early July 16th, what jumps out right away, we were talking about this number yesterday. Yesterday, the 15th day of the 7th month. A lot of the world writes that date 15/7, like 157. Kobe, when he died on his 157th day of his age. And that's the 37th prime number, and he died on the anniversary, the 37th anniversary of Bear Bryant. And Bryant has the gematria 37. You run it the other way, Bryant's 26, dead on the 26th day of the year, the 37th anniversary of Bear Bryant. So there's so much to Kobe's passing again. But there were so many 157s in it. And maybe we'll quickly go over some of the 157s. But again, it sounds like Joe Bryant's last full day on this earth, if he made it through yesterday, was 15/7. And, Trump's at the GOP convention. right after the assassination attempt. The shooter's name equals 157 in Gematria on Trump, and then he's having the convention on 15/7 in Milwaukee, where Theodore Roosevelt was shot, who became president after McKinley was assassinated. And then J.D. Vance he nominates on 15/7, and J.D. Vance is the youngest VP nominee since Teddy Roosevelt, who was shot in Milwaukee, where the convention is. We're going to get to Jimmy Butler, who played at Marquette. Again, this stuff's like we're always showing from the mega celebrities, the mega stars in the world sports stage, to the mega stars in the political game. You can see how they're all part of a very numerical script. And again, if you're new here, just to make a point, I'm going to write out Kobe Bryant real quick. Kobe Bryant. There's 4 base ciphers of the English language. The alphabetic order, Kobe Bryant equals 113 in that cipher, like Michael Jordan, like the National Basketball Association. We call it the 113 League. Coronavirus pandemic 113. They were locked down together on November 3rd. Or not November 3rd, excuse me. The other 3/11 date, March 11th, the day the pandemic was declared, March 11th. Date can be written 11/3. And Dallas. Again, there's only 2 teams in the whole NBA that equal 113. Utah Jazz equals 113, who Kobe played his last game against. And the other one is Dallas. At the day of the pandemic, Dallas finished their game. They scored 113 points. This year, the Celtics beat Dallas in Jason Tatum's 113th playoff game on 6/17, when Boston's the 617 area code and 617 is the 113th prime. But Kobe Bryant 113, Michael Jordan 113, Kobe's retirement poem Dear Basketball 113. Again, just huge number with the league. So many rituals with the NBA and 113, which we talked about for years. We've been talking about this stuff since way before Kobe died. Kobe Bryant dead at 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Right before the Super Bowl, mind you, that was synced with Mahomes. And 41's the Super Bowl number. Mahomes won that Super Bowl that year with his 26th completion and number 26 on his 41st pass. Like Kobe dead on the 26th at 41. But Kobe dead on the 157th day of his age. Kobe Bryant's got the 58, like Los Angeles Lakers, like secret society, like Freemasonry. You know, Donald Trump, he had just, that was the beginning of his last year in office. Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th election, who announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, who did the 1,000,058 rituals. Prince, Purple Rain equals 58. Vanity dead the day of the 58th Grammys. Prince dead in his 58th year of life, synced with the election. He did the song Black Donald Trump, all in the year where Trump won election. Bill and Hillary conceded in purple, and the year Mr. Purple Rain died, when purple equals 88 like Trump. But anyway, Kobe Bryant was part of this too, because McCarthy, who became the Speaker of the House, he became the 55th Speaker of House. He's from the LA area. It was his 55th birthday that Kobe died, around the time he attained that position. And remember, 55 is big with the Church of Satan, where the highest degree is mega. Kobe with all the 666 stuff, like his career high 81 in his 666 game when Kobe Bean Bryant's 81, like Mark of the Beast. But anyway, all of these numbers had a lot to do with the Kobe Bryant ritual. By the way, 58 is so special. The word star, the singular, is 58. Stars, the plural, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 58. Again, these are the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. It's a mathematical system in use by the cabal. That's why everything lines up this way day after day. But 157 was so huge with Kobe's passing. And now, one day after 15/7, in the early, I mean, they reported this at the crack of dawn that his father was dead. At the time, it was 2 hours ago, and I posted this out here on the West Coast at 8:52 a.m. So the news broke around just before 7 a.m., we'll say West Coast time. That was about 3 hours ago now. It's 10 out here. But yeah, early in the morning, unclear when he passed, just that he's gone. And at a relatively young age. I mean, 69. That's below the average life expectancy. And just so often with these celebrities. I mean, you get to Kobe, they say it was a tragedy, but we're going to talk more about the tragedy of Kobe and the helicopter and the 157 before we move on to the next topic. Yeah, again, if you have not read my book, Number Games, there's a 80-page chapter on Kobe's death, and there's a whole lot of 157 in there. By the way, Kobe's father, Joseph Washington Bryant, his full name's 113. You know, he's 113. He played in the NBA, has a son. His son becomes big star in the NBA. You see how Joe Bryant was born in 54? Remember, Kobe Bean Bryant, his full name, it equals 54. Run it the other way, 81, like his career high. Mark of the Beast is 54 and 81. Had all the 666 stuff. Born in 54, his son dies on a Sunday before Super Bowl 54. The Joe Montana Bowl, another big star in California in terms of his pro career. Catholic educated like Kobe. See how Joe Montana's 54? Again, last year was Super Bowl 58. Kobe, the last athlete to three-peat. Mahomes wins his third Super Bowl in 58, the 54th of the modern era, perfectly synced with Joe, who was 67 years old, the 19th prime as they go to OT, 19-19, and McCall Hardman again scores the 19th career touchdown for the game winner, and the Chiefs become the first team to go back-to-back in 19 years when Montana wore 19 for them. But Joe Montana, 54, Kobe Bean Bryant, and think about his age of death plus his daughter, 41 plus 13, 54. But Kobe Bean Bryant, 54. Again, dead on a Sunday, son 54. Joe loses his son before his own passing just 4 years later. Remember, 4 is the number of death. Kobe was 4 years old when Philadelphia, the 76ers, won it with Moses Malone the year he said foe, 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 and an Exodus foe. God test Moses. There's the story of the staff being turned to a snake. Moses Malone did the ad back in the day for Nike, posing as Moses from the Bible with the staff that gets turned into a snake like Kobe's the Black Mamba. This story's in Exodus 4. Again, Moses Malone, who was drafted by Utah out of high school. Kobe finished his career against Utah. He was drafted out of high school. Remember, Moses Malone died 213 days before Kobe's last game in the 213 area code. A few years before they win the Super Bowl on 213. But again, Nike did this biblical ad with Moses Malone, and then 2016, when Kobe retired, that year he came out with the Kobe Bryant After Death shoe, which was a Nike shoe with a morbid ad. And then the year that the Lakers signed AD, like after death, Kobe dies in this ritual synced with the Pope and Catholic Mass, when we're on a calendar named after a Pope. And again, with regards to the Pope, he's the first Jesuit. The Jesuit order's logo is the sun. And again, Jesuit order, of course, is 54 to remind us who's doing this. And again, the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria by a Jesuit, and Bavaria's got that 54. It's also got that 135. If you noticed, Kobe Bean Bryant has the 135, which is a huge number in Philadelphia, because the phrase the key of David equals 135, which is mentioned in the letter to the church of Philadelphia in Revelation, which has a lot to do with Satan and the battle of good and evil. And again, there's so much to say about Kobe's passing and his burial in Corona del Mar, right as coronavirus is kicking off. Remember, the first case was confirmed in the news January 21st, and then they said it arrived here January 15th. And again, there's a lot to say about that. Trump signed his trade deal with China on January 15th. Trump was at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland on January 21st, gloating about his trade deal with China, about how the world will never be the same way again. The same World Economic Forum that did the Event 201 pandemic simulation the day the military World Games began in Wuhan, right before all this stuff started. And then how the NBA locks down the same day the pandemic's declared and is blamed on a Frenchman when the Jesuits are from France, and the lab that has the leak theory in Wuhan was built by the French, and the same numbers over all of it. Oh my God. You could, I mean, it's just, but yeah, the Wikipedia right now does say Joe Bryant died on July 16th. Just from all the articles I've read, I read like 5. I couldn't find a single one that mentioned when he passed. So right now the assumption is the day the news breaks. But yes, again, 157 was yesterday, and just such a huge number in Kobe's passing, which we still haven't really touched on. You know what else is wild? Joe Bryant is dead 49 years after being drafted by the Warriors. Warriors equals 49 in Gematria. It's a special number. 49 is bigger than Warriors. It goes with Revelation. It goes with America. It goes with Washington. Square root of 7. The Masonic logo's the big G, the 7th letter. There's a lot about what 49. It's also 13 as it breaks down in numerology, and then it breaks down to 4. 13 is obviously a special number. for all kinds of reasons, from our money to Jesus and his disciples, 12 of them, 13 total guys, Jesus plus 12 disciples, the sun and the 12 constellations, the Catholic Church who spread these stories in the form we know them. But yeah, Catholicism's another 49 for the record. Jellybean's 49. And what's wild is from the anniversary of him being drafted, which was JFK's birthday, go figure, after this huge tribute to JFK with the Boston-Dallas series. You know what? Dallas is another 49 place where JFK got smoked and then his body sent back to Washington. But Jellybean, his nickname equals 49, and if today's the death date, it's a span of 49 days from the anniversary of him being drafted. You know, he was drafted in 75. Kobe has that gematria 75, like Catholic Church, like Roman Catholic. Again, how his death was synced up with the Catholic Mass. 75 has been a number in front of everybody's face this past week with the NATO conference in D.C. by the numbers, where it was the 75th anniversary. And you know what? NATO, founded in 1949. And this nation, NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, it's another 49. But hold up, just to go over some of the 157s, his last full day on this earth would have been 15/7. I'm going to skip through some of this stuff. It is important. It's about the boule and what's on LeBron's chest and how things lined up. But I'm skipping down to the 157s. And there's a lot here that's interesting. Here's the shot of Kobe coming off the floor for the last time in his career. 4.1 seconds. LA's on 101 points. Remember, Philadelphia equals 101. Kobe from Philly. Always big things with Philly and California because the Bay Area has the Warriors and the Athletics, both from Philly. And again, we thought the Athletics were going to win 2 out of those 3. They had all the numbers to do it. And they smoked the Phillies 18-3. And if you don't follow baseball, the Athletics are pretty much the worst team in baseball and the Phillies are the best. So no one saw the A's series that series getting won by the A's, but the Gematria had it all spelled out. Phillies pick up the 34th loss, the Athletics 34, Philadelphia 61. Phillies came into that series on 61 wins. Athletics exit on 61 losses, picking up 2 wins and a loss to win the series. By the way, when LeBron passed Kobe Bryant in points scored on 25/1, like 251, the 54th prime, the day before Kobe died. And remember, I put out a video before LeBron even passed him explaining how important LeBron passing with the 54 piece was. Remember, you guys, the word Kobe or the name Kobe Bean Bryant is 54. Kobe Bryant is 58. Sun is 54. Star is 58. They say the sun is a star, the nearest star, making life possible here. And again, David Stern in 1984, he took over the NBA with the year Jordan came in. He said the NBA's not about basketball. It's about making stars. And you see that at this day and age. I mean, LeBron's able to take 10 steps. Everyone can carry. It's like, it isn't about basketball anymore. The fundamentals are all out. The rules are all out. It's all entertainment. It's all athleticism. It's the land of the giants. You know. Anyway, this past year was the year of the Frenchman, and we talked about why that was too. But yeah, that score was all kinds of symbolic. Philly was also on 74, you guys. When Kobe died, this is the 74th NBA season. This is the day before Kobe died. This was the 74th NBA season, right? In Gematria, Exodus equals 74. Again, Exodus 4, you get the story of Moses and the staff. When Kobe was 4, Moses Malone said, fo, and then he almost did it all the way through the playoffs. They swept, but one series was 4-1, but they did win the championship. And again, he dies 4 years before Kobe dies, but his death was perfectly synced with Kobe's last game against Utah when, again, Moses Malone was drafted out of high school by Utah. You know, slavery in all of that Old Testament story. There's a lot of parallels with the draft. You know, I forgot a 49 word. I just said that he died 49 days from his draft anniversary. Draft is another 49 word. Just like Warriors. Draft 49, Warriors 49. Again, he's dead 49 years after being drafted by the Warriors. But yeah, again, like we've been saying forever since way before Kobe died, what these people do in their sick little twisted rituals, they are tributes to the Bible. And again, you look it up, you guys. The Jesuits gave us the calendar we're on that says today I'm doing this broadcast, July 16th, 2024. They gave us the languages we know it. You've heard the phrase "all roads lead to Rome." You see the Masonic heritage of all these sports. Modern Masonry is a Jesuit creation. Again, the Jesuits are this powerful thing that's been around for a long time, longer than this nation, and they serve Rome. You know, which has the biggest network in the world. And people say the Jesuits. Again, don't forget, you guys, the CIA was established in a big Jesuit ritual. Howard Hunt of the CIA. Look up Howard Hunt if you don't know who he is. He said the Jesuits are the greatest intelligence network in the world. If you look into why people say that is, it's because of the Catholic Church and confession. People confess to really serious stuff, and they think it's between them and the priest. But how many of them even realize they might have a Jesuit priest in their church who seems like the nicest, swellest guy ever? But at the end of the day, he also has a mission, an oath to the Jesuits. And there's a supposed oath online that the Jesuits say. I don't know. It seems over the top. But the Jesuits have been warned about for centuries for interfering in life, politics, trying to control people just like the church. And there's a reason they had to be suppressed. And there's a reason this nation was founded in the time of the Jesuit suppression. By the way, you guys, the Jesuit suppression lasted 41 years. And this nation was founded in the time of the Jesuit suppression. Just going like with Kobe, dying at 41 on the 41st day of the Pope's age when he's the first Jesuit Pope. But yes, the Jesuits, they were in suppression for 41 years, and this nation was formed in the time of it. And look up the letters of Jefferson and Adams about their concerns about what could happen to this nation if the Jesuits came out of suppression. People forget, people were fleeing Europe coming over here because they didn't like being ruled over by the Catholic Church, which was the government of that continent at that time. The Catholic Church largely governed Europe. That's why there was this idea in the opening, concept of this nation of this freedom of church and state. But then again, the Jesuits came here and they set up camp in D.C. and they set up Georgetown. And the next thing you know, you got the first recognized president, George Washington, and history rolling out by the numbers. And even really before then, too, the American Revolutionary War began on Ignatius of Loyola Day. That's the founder, April 19th, the day in history, the founder of the Jesuits became recognized as the first military leader of the church, the superior general. So, hold on. I didn't even get to the 157 thing. All right, hold on. Where's our 157? I had to stop. There's so many things here, but all right, here it is. Okay, May 15th is, we've been talking about with it being Mercuralia and Operation Warp Speed and Cladex, but May 15th in this regard is also important day to the Boule establishment anniversary, May 15th, and they were founded in Philly, Kobe's hometown. So from the Boule anniversary, remember LeBron's got the Boule tattoo on his chest. He wins the finals, again, 41 weeks after his birthday, after Kobe's death in that season. But it was also 5 months and 4 days, like Kobe Bean Bryant, dead the Sunday before Super Bowl 54, when again, Suns 54, like Jesuit order. But notice, Kobe Bryant, 157. It was still the Staples Center back then, 157. They said it was an accident, 157. Jellybean, that's his father's nickname, Joe Jellybean Bryant, 157. The WWE event that night was this huge tribute to 33. Kobe equals 33. It was the 33rd Royal Rumble. And that night, Drew McIntyre won the Royal Rumble. And then remember, they had the All-Star game after that, and it was the first to score 157. It was the first time they'd ever done that. And it was like, where did they get this number from? The first to score 157, and the game was dedicated to Kobe, who died on his 157th day of his own age. You know what I mean? But hold on. There was more, too. They were doing all kinds of stuff with the Cleveland athlete, in light of how LeBron had recently come over from Cleveland. Again, here, Team LeBron wins it with 157 over Team Giannis. The short film, Kobe Bryant, The Black Mamba for Nike, which has Kanye West, Bruce Willis, what's his name? Trejo? Is it Danny Trejo? Is that his name? He's in a lot of movies. If you have not seen this short film, look it up. Nike short film, Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba. It's just, I forget, it's probably like 5 minutes long. But it ends with an exploding helicopter. Okay? Ends with an exploding helicopter. And remember, Comedy Central had put out the cartoon on November 16th, not long before Kobe died, but That date can be written 16/11, like the year the King James Bible came out, 1611. King James died unexpectedly at age 58. He was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian. Freemasonry again equals 58. Rosicrucian 58. Secret Society 58. Kobe Bryant 58. Los Angeles Lakers 58. Remember, LeBron won the only finals for the Cavs on the real King James's birthday. And again, King James's son is King Charles, and those who fought for King Charles in the English Civil War, called Cavaliers. But anyway, this thing was major predictive programming, and at the end, Kobe's last line is "Legends never die." But yeah, the tagline from that film is "You lose this road game, you don't go home." You lose this road game, you don't go home equals 157. The day before his death, remember, LeBron passed Kobe Bryant in points scored in Philadelphia. Again, there's the Church of Philadelphia in the Bible. So that's at the end. And in the beginning is Exodus. That's the second book of the Bible with Moses. So from beginning to end. But again, the Lakers lost a road game in Kobe's hometown, Philly. LeBron scored the points dribbling over the black snakes that were on Philadelphia's court that year. The snake is associated with Satan. Again, Kobe had that career high 81 in his 666th game. But yeah, the tagline is the Boulet's birthday in Philly, 135th day of the year. Again, just big time number in Philly. Kobe Bean Bryant's got that 135. Like Bavaria, like Central Intelligence Agency, which again was established in a big Jesuit Illuminati ritual, just like how the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. That's right. Kanye West, who raps about being friends with George Tenet. Remember how 9/11's perfectly synced with George Tenet? It's crazy. 247 weeks after he became the head of the CIA, the World Trade Center blows up, which equals 247. But Kanye, who started out as something and then became the thing that he was rapping about in the beginning that you didn't want to be, he's in that film, and the death of Kobe was 135 days from his birthday. Kardashian equals 41. They left that part out of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Again, Revelation 3:7, to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write, these are the words of him who is holy and true and who holds the key of David. So many 135 rituals in history with Philly. Carson Wentz set the rookie record, 135 passes before throwing an interception as a rookie. Again, just we've been talking about all this stuff over and over, books about it, countless posts, and now sadly it's Kobe's father too. And I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time. The theme of 4 years apart, 4 the number of death, the 4th book of the Bible, Numbers. Exodus 4, Moses Malone, 4 years later, Kobe. 4 years after the AD shoe. That's when they get AD in 2020, the year Kobe dies. Shoe came out at the end of 2016. They played that game with Team LeBron on 216 too, like the Cleveland area code, 216. All right. So other things we need to cover besides the passing of Kobe's father. The head of the Secret Service, we're going to take a look at her, and we're going to go back and look at how the Secret Service was signed into being by Lincoln the day he was assassinated, April 14th, 1865, and then its first day of operating was July 5th, 1865, and its original mission was to stop counterfeit money. And I thought about that with all the 13s on the dollar bill and the shooting of Trump on the 13th and the perfect photo op under the 13 stripes. What's crazy, and then we'll get to, is from the day that it was signed into, or did I forget to put it up here? Or right here. From the day that Lincoln signed the Secret Service into being, April 4, or its anniversary. For Lincoln, it was April 14th, 1865, the day he was shot. But from that day to this ritual with Trump and the Secret Service failure, 13 weeks, right? So we'll talk more about that. Again, just how perfect. Trump constantly bringing out how the worst moment in American history is what happened in Afghanistan on the Jesuit order's birthday, and then how right after that, 13 soldiers were killed, and then recently they let us know that it was a big lie. We were told they blew up in a single explosion, but then we see there were bombs going off all over, gunfire all over, people driving around shooting all over. Total different explanation than what we got at the time. And again, you guys, I mean, these are blatant lies they tell us. The Pat Tillman thing was one blatant lie after the next that was revealed over the course of years. I don't know when people lose credibility or like or not. I shouldn't say. When do people stop trusting that this TV and this government that's constantly lying to them and manipulating them and just it's always just so picture perfect and number esque. I mean, it's just so. Anyway, we'll go over that some more. MSNBC wrote an article comparing Trump and Teddy Roosevelt, but nowhere in the article did they mention that Teddy Roosevelt was shot in Milwaukee. This is the level of mockery, you guys. And again, we're on these things before they happen, right? We're talking about the parallels with Teddy Roosevelt, but by the numbers throughout history. Wrote a book about the same book where I wrote about Kobe and 41. In that book, I wrote about presidential assassinations by the numbers and how they all pay tribute to each other and they follow the same patterns. Again, Teddy Roosevelt shot on the day leaving 78 days left near in Milwaukee, where the convention is. Trump shot after turning 78, and 78 land Butler 78 days after his wife's birthday. And a whole bunch more. Now we got the Black Rock 78 piece and rock. But anyway, the point is they put this article, and also, again, one more time, J.D. Vance is the youngest VP nominee since Teddy Roosevelt, and he gets picked in Milwaukee where he was shot. It's just, but then they put out these articles, right? And you read them, and you see this how it is. It's a mockery. The fact that they're tying these things together, here, just to read, this is MSNBC's article on this. A former Republican president is attempting a comeback into politics despite leaving office 4 years ago. He's busy trying to convince, this happens in the time of the fourth sign, Cancer, busy trying to convince the American people that his successor has been a disappointment. During an event on the campaign trail, a shot rings out as a would-be assassin attempts to end his life. On Saturday, that scene played out for the second time in American history. Former President Theodore Roosevelt survived that 1912 shot fired as he attempted to mount a strong third-party challenge to return to the White House. Notice, they're not going to bring up the Milwaukee piece anywhere. So, too, did former President Donald Trump when a single gunman fired at him during a rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday. It's a dire reminder that in a country where political violence is never too far from the forefront of the nation's consciousness and guns remain widely available, those campaigning for the highest office in the land have long been considered prime targets. Again, I've been talking about for all this year and the last year. Ever since RFK Jr. got in the race, we've really been on it nonstop. I mean, really on top of it. Some work that we should have got totally recognized for. I mean, last year on August 9th, we were going over the history of assassinations by the numbers and how it's always 144 and what August 9th has to do with this pattern. And at the end of that day, an assassination in Ecuador of a presidential candidate born in 63, killed 63 days from his birthday. Like, again, JFK killed in 63. 144 days from meeting with the Pope. And in Gematria, Kennedy curse equals 144 and 63. Like, Jesuit order equals 144. And John Carroll has the 144-63 connection to establish the first Jesuit university. And again, the day before this shooting, just having the date circled and saying it looked like something like this could go down. I mean, we made a big video about it the day before it happened. Watch the coverage of Friday, July 12th, and what we were saying about this new Eminem album and what it had to do with the Kennedy assassination in history and what's going on right now and him being born in 72, the year George Wallace was shot, who has the parallels to Trump. Anyway, again, just no mention in this article. We're going to continue to read of Milwaukee. They just leave it out of the whole article. And it's like, how do they leave that out? I mean, they're only going to take you so far. They really, and this shows you, if they wrote this way consistently and just put it all there, people would catch on. They'd be like, wait a minute, there's just way too many coincidences happening. And that's why, there's already that alone. People should be able to see through it. But then you learn gematria and how perfect it is by the numbers. And again, I mean, we're sitting here for years saying how important it's going to be when Trump turns 78 with the 78 cards in the tarot deck. It's just, the top cards are Trump cards. And Gematria Tarot cards is 119. The next winner of the election takes office with the 119th Congress when it was called for Trump, Mr. Cards, on January 19th or November 9th, 119, back in 2016, at the time of the hit show House of Cards. While the market's up over 40,000, climbing strong after the shooting on the 40th parallel north, which has parallels to number 40, Ronald Reagan, who won re-election 40 years ago. And now he gets J.D. Vance, who turns 40 at the start of August. whose name equals 40 in Gematria. Isn't this what I've been showing the whole time? I mean, how long we've been talking about presidents and markets and rituals and just numbers, and how you pay attention, you see how everything is literally scripted and being manipulated, how controlled this world is, how it is a cabal that has enough power to move the levers to move things like the market by the numbers and society by a code, ritualistically through news stories that are presented as such, that most people don't catch on to. But here's the easiest way for me to confirm to you that they didn't mention Milwaukee in this article where he was shot. When I search for the word Milwaukee, 0 of 0 results. Nothing gets highlighted. Nothing comes up. I mean, how many times do they use the word Republican? If you ever want to do a word count, that's a good way to do if your browser shows. So the word Republicans used 3 times in the article. 2, where's the third one? Oh, it's down here in an extra story. So it's actually 2 times in the article. But anyway, no mention of Milwaukee, even though that is where Teddy Roosevelt was shot. And I don't think they mentioned in his article either the parallel about J.D. Vance being the youngest since Teddy Roosevelt. But again, it's just everything. We covered everything yesterday about how perfect it all is. So anyhow, coming back to the Secret Service, the lead is a woman. If you've seen the criticism of the Secret Service response, they're talking about how one of the people out there is a woman and she's a DEI hire and she's smaller and she's not even big enough to cover up much of the president. So his head's still kind of exposed through her angle. If you've been listening to like the Dan Bonaginos of the world, this is what they have everybody focused on. See what DEI is doing? Women should, do you want women, having to get her? It's just, in a way, see, we live in this age where just everyone gets so offended, but really, I don't feel like that is the job of women, to get out there and get in front of a bullet of a man, especially. There are big women in the world. And you know what? I mean, for like sometimes you're at the grocery store and you see a woman and you're like, she must have been in the WNBA or at least played college ball. She's like 6'10". You see like one of these women once a year. But I mean, you know what? If she wanted to be security, I mean, that's a different type of story. You got a 6'10" woman out there who she could block, she could protect a lot of people. But anyhow, I often do feel that in this like when I was growing up, you hardly ever saw a female cop. Now they're everywhere. And remember earlier this year when the Jewish woman got stabbed to death? God, was it on it was on Netanyahu's 74th birthday. That's right. The Jewish woman who's friends with the Jewish attorney general who said there'll be gun reform in Michigan. And it was just perfectly synced up with the Oxford thing. And then the more recent things that have gone on there. But when that story happened, there's a lot to say about it. It matters that it happened on Netanyahu's 74th birthday because killing and stabbing equals 74 in Gematria, like Jewish. They started beating up Gaza while it was 74 years old. But the Ides of March, to remember the stabbing of Caesar, the killing of Caesar, that's on the 74th day of the year. Again, 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents dead on 7-4. Fateful number. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because I still remember the image that a lot of the media used, and like you just see it, didn't matter what, the 2 female cops outside the crime scene where they're saying they can't figure out who did it. But you got 2 female cops walking down the sidewalk and just way overweight too. Obese women cops. I mean, I'm just like, okay, if I'm a criminal, I see they're working the shift. I mean, like I'm feeling extra confident today. There's no way they're stopping me. I'm going to rob extra banks today. I'm going to rob these 2 banks and be so far down the block before they can even catch up. I got time to get the third one too. But yeah, I just thought it was so symbolic about how they can't solve the murder, and you got 2 obese women standing there outside the scene. I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, but then again, you talk about things like this, people are like, "Oh, you're an asshole. Oh, so what? You're a body shamer." That's what they heard. Oh, you're a body shamer. No, I'm talking about how society's bullshit right now, moron, and how people are weak and soft and look like marshmallows on the inside and out. That's what I'm talking about. Wait a minute. So you didn't wear your mask either, I bet. You're damn right I didn't wear my mask. Didn't get any jabs either, and I'm a lot healthier than you are. How many times you had the flu since then? Anyway, buck stops with me. Look at the emphasis. Look at the gematria buck stops with me, guys. You see some familiar numbers here? 204 and 201 like Jewish mysticism. 60 like Donald Trump and George Wallace in the 60th election and their assassinations, now 60 days apart. Butler also has the 84 connection like Reagan in 84, plus everything else we talked about. Teddy Roosevelt dead at 60 on January 6th. Buck stops with me. Just I mean, you could sit here and do this all day with the stuff they're encoding, and it'll keep paying tribute back to exactly what we've been talking about. You know, since Donald Trump's ex-wife fell down the stairs and died exactly 60 weeks into the Jesuit Ignatian year, the first ever one they did, the same day he says he's going to run for the 60th election, and then they bury her on July 20th, 2022, the 201st day of the year, the anniversary of the moon landing, the thing illuminated by the sun. Again, heliocentrism's 201 from the 16th century, like the Jesuits, like the Jesuit orders 201, like Order of Illuminati's 201. Like the list goes on and on and on with the 201s. First Jesuit Pope, first to live in Suite 201. His name equals 201. He's Pope Francis, where the Jesuits are from France. And the last French Pope was the 201st. The woman who is the head of the Secret Service right now, Kimberly Shadle, her name equals 149. JFK's birthday is the 149th day of the year. Remember, this shooting was 45 days after JFK's birthday anniversary. RFK Jr. got Secret Service because of this. RFK Jr. officially got in the race, filing his paperwork April 5th, 2023. Again, 144 days after the Superior General's birthday. Like his father died at 1:44 in the morning. And again, JFK died 144 days from meeting with the Pope. But Kimberly Shadle, 149. That's the 35th prime, like JFK, number 35, killed on I-35, beat Richard Nixon 305 days after Nixon's birthday. Kimberly Shadle, the small way, 68, like RFK shot in 68, 56 years ago. They've been drawing parallels to 68 all year, the year of years, the year that, again, COVID was coined, or it was coined as coronavirus, a seasonal flu. Look it up, you guys. Coronavirus, coined as seasonal flu in 1968. Fentanyl, approved by the FDA in 1968. So many things down in 1968. 911 became the emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began in New York. We talked about the man who was supposedly shot, Corey. I don't know how to say his last name, but the man with the CC initials who just turned 50, killed on the 195th day of the year, reportedly. His name 195. Now we got his wife. His wife's name equals 79 and 83. Like murder equals 79 and 83. Like elections 83. Like how this city was on the 79th Meridian West, Butler, and the 40th parallel, like we talked about. Society of Jesus is also 79. It's like how they declared the pandemic for Fauci on his 79th day, being 79 years old. Society of Jesus has that 79. Again, right outside the Steelers Stadium was this shooting. Well, it's 35 miles from Pittsburgh, they say. 35 days before De Niro's birthday, who's wanted him smoked. Whose taxi driver characters modeled after Arthur Bremer, who shot the 45th governor of Alabama, George Wallace. But again, this shooting 83 days before the upcoming Joker film, and Trump first appeared in court 83 weeks before the election, right after they filmed the latest Joker scene in the same courtroom. Again, just how all these things been connected. We'll talk more about that with what they've done with Jimmy Butler of Marquette, the basketball star there from the Jesuit University in Wisconsin, in light of this Butler shooting. It's crazy how they got it. But they look at that, you guys. They mentioned how they were about to celebrate their 29th wedding anniversary. Remember, Trump equals 29, Bullseye equals 29. The shooting was 29 days after Trump's birthday. Saturday has that gematria 107 and 109. Like shooting equals 107 and 109. Again, JFK would be 107 years old if he were alive right now. So, but yeah, the Secret Service thing, more about it. Again, it was signed into being by Lincoln the day he was shot, April 14th, 1865. It officially went into action July 5th, 1865. Notice how it was 83 days from April 14th to July 5th. Secret Service equals 83. Again, this whole thing with Obama or Trump at the courthouse, Secret Service would have been there. Now this incident, 83 days before the new Joker film. Again, it's a lot to explain in one video. If you're like, what? How you jump into that? We've been talking about the ongoing ritual of the Batman and Donald Trump and the Joker series for almost 10 years now. Again, just how all of this stuff scripted together and why they use a guy who's Mr. Hollywood like Trump, just like Reagan, for this position, which is literally political theater. These guys are here to help agendas be served. And that agenda right now is to divide this populace more and more. And I called this out February 2016. Why Trump was the guy to polarize and divide the nation. Anyway, from the implementation of the Secret Service, it was 8 days after their 159th anniversary. 159. We've been talking about this, right? Donald Trump, 159. We were talking about how the guy who shot Theodore Roosevelt in Milwaukee, how he died on 15/9 at 47, and Trump's running on Agenda 47. Of course, Trump equals 47, like president, like White House, like government, like authority, like Truth Social, and the list goes on. It's 47 years now since he got married to his ex-wife who fell down the stairs in the death ritual, mind you. They got married in 77. They got married in the big 201 ritual, and then they had Donald Trump Jr. on the 201st day of Trump's age. But yeah, it's 159 years since the Secret Service anniversary that they have this thing with Donald Trump. This big perfect photo op where they gave him time to pause on stage and get his shoes back and pump his fist and get right under the flag. Straight Hollywood, man. The scene was set. The cue was probably, I would like to see what was on the teleprompter. But yeah, the Scottish Rite, you guys. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry has a big headquarters in D.C. 33 columns on the outside, each 33 feet tall. Like Reagan was the 33rd governor of California, who came from Hollywood, which equals 33, like Masonry, like secrecy, like order, like federal. He was shot on the 30 plus 3 date, March 30th, 30 plus 3, 33. March 30th, third month, 30th day. Trump was shot on 13/7, like 137, the 33rd prime, highest degree of the Scottish Rite, 33, written by Jesuit priests. Again, the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the Admerum Dei Gloriam motto with the Jesuits. And technically, the day that Trump was shot, you could say it's the day that has 171 days coming after it, or it's the first of the last 172 days of the year. Admerum Dei Gloriam does equal 172. Again, the Scottish Rite and the Jesuits share that motto at the 32nd degree, and there's 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo, and America equals 32, and so does Scottish. Anyway, Scottish Rite, 165. Trump is of Scottish ancestry, born on the 165th day of the year, the same day as the flag, June 14th. His name is 159, like Scottish Rite. Trump just turned 78. Butler equals 78. It was 78 days after Melania's birthday, plus everything else we've been talking about this with the parallels to Roosevelt, who was shot on the day, leaving 78 days left in the year. Big-time Jesuit number, big-time Scottish Rite number. And then the 5/7, that's also a lot like the date the Secret Service went into business, a date that can be written 5/7. Like several of the first presidents of this country were inaugurated at age 57. And that started with George Washington. Georgetown equals 57, like Rome, also like George. Georgetown, the first Jesuit university in D.C., established at the start of 1789 on January 23rd, about a month and a half before George Washington was inaugurated as the first recognized U.S. president at 57. Again, the moon has a lot to do with 57. Rome, D.C. used to be called Rome on the Potomac. All roads lead to Rome. And then just with regards to the Scottish Rite, they have the unfinished temple with the 13 layers of bricks at their site. 13's all over the dollar bill. The Illuminati, founded with 13 families, right before the 13 stripes were established through 13 colonies. Again, look at how from the day that Lincoln signed and again, they're talking about the Civil War, right? Lincoln was the Civil War president. Again, Obama was born on the 100th anniversary of the American Civil War. He's about to turn 63, like the year that JFK was killed. And Obama was born the year that JFK became president. And again, just the parallels with the RFK Jr. being in and what we've been saying. If you go back and watch my video from April 5th, 2023, the day RFK Jr. got in the race, we showed how the ritual showed there was going to be an assassination or maybe multiple assassinations in this election cycle. I mean, we've been on this since the day he filed his paperwork by the numbers. Everything RFK Jr. has been doing has been a perfect Jesuit ritual. To me, he talks mostly a good game. I can't stand what he says on Israel, but everything else I almost agree with. But I realize he's this controlled opposition and he's the good cop for people with eyes to see. But he's part of this game. We've been calling this out since the day he filed his paperwork. 4 or 5, and now so aligned with number 45. Almost tempted to go back and watch to see everything we said in that video, but I know this is exactly what it was about. Its first chief was William Wood. Have to look more into that one. I skipped the William Wood part. They stopped more than 200 counterfeiting plants. I see that numbers all over the place. Secret Service also has Gematria 200. What's more than 200? The next one would be 201, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? But yeah, it was to stop money, bad money. 13s all over the dollar bills established at the time of the Federal Reserve. And yeah, just how perfect it is. 13 weeks on the 13th, the photo op under the 13 stripes. I see that a lot of the big popular podcasts on YouTube right now are really trying to beat back on the idea that this was staged. It just that's why these people get the views, and that's why they're promoted by the machine. They just want to keep everybody in line. They just want everyone to always go along with the obvious lies. It makes me sad. You know, the Iranian guy that has the popular podcast, it's 3 letters. It's like the PBD podcast. I can't. He needs a better name, so it's memorable. By the way, get better branding because it should probably do even better if it had a different acronym. It's like whatever the letters are. I'm sure I don't have the same problem. It's like what's the order of those letters? What's that stand for anyway? The show needs a different name, but anyway, it's getting tons of views on YouTube. That came in my feed, and I just saw how he was really beating back on. But yeah, that guy's recently had on like Billy Carson and some guy from the UFC who's a flat earther, and this is the stuff he's putting out to his audience is nothing but bullshit. It's like if you feel so passionately that there's no way there's a conspiracy or staged element to this, bring yours truly on to debate it. The guy who's been saying this is coming for a long time, because I've been documenting everything they've been doing with Trump since 2015, 2016 with the Trump tombstone and comparing him to George Wallace, who got shot in 72 the year Biden became senator. Like, we've been on this for a long time. And again, we've really been dialed in for the time period to expect that it would go into when Biden was 81 and Kamala was 59. 59th election they supposedly won with the 81 million votes. And now you see the parallel with Reagan in 81. Pretty sure we mentioned that in the past. But yeah, again, all these people trying to beat back on this. I hate how like we're like a ghost. It's like we don't exist in the age of the algorithm. Again, we haven't gotten any views since Kobe Bryant died. I mean, that's sadly the truth. There's been like no views on this channel since Kobe died, and we didn't get the greatest vote views when Kobe died. I mean, I had like 4 or 5 videos that all got over 100,000 views on the Kobe subject, but that wasn't even that good at that time. I mean, my videos on Bush's death got over 1 million views in a little more than 24 hours. When Jay-Z and Lil Wayne linked up the Carters, that video got like 1 million views in a few days' time. The Kobe death work was 1 million times better. Well, the work on Bush's death, which we called out before it happened, you know, again, I explained, people were following me at the time because I was getting views back then, and I said he wasn't going to live past November 30th. That year at age 94, that was the expiration date at the latest, and that's the day he went. 5 years to the day of Paul Walker, who started the movie about Skull and Bones. November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41. Skull and Bones, 41. 41 secret societies at Yale. This new J.D. Vance guy, he went to Yale. I'm sure he's in one of those secret societies. His Hillbilly book. Oh, we'll talk about that Hillbilly book coming out on Elon Musk's 45th birthday in light of how the day he's announced Elon Musk pledges $45 million a month to Trump for the campaign. And remember, Elon Musk is the 78 Jesuit stooge, declared the world's richest man for the first time ever on the 78th anniversary of the death of Nikola Tesla. Go back and look it up. It was January 7th, 2021, his 78th death anniversary. Jesuit equals 78 like Tesla. Again, so every time he's got a big headline, it's just a little puppet. The puppet strings are showing every time. So yeah, if you guys know what I'm talking about with that the Iranian dude doing the podcast, somehow if we get people to like leave lots of comments there that he needs to come on and have a conversation with us, he's getting a lot of views right now. That could be a great debate if he was willing to have it, and I'm pretty sure he would get just smoked. That's why I feel like that's why they did what they had to do. I mean, they just destroyed us in the algorithm. We do not like all of my stats when I see it's like my reach new audience thing is just like a flat line that's almost at the bottom. It's like it's hard to find any new people. Mm. Yeah, so yeah, you guys can check out this article. MSNBC. They bring up the they do not talk at all though about the Milwaukee parallel, and it's almost like they're trying to lead a horse to water in a way. And then look what's right next to it, Judge Eileen Cannon. I mean, haven't I been saying this since you guys? I've been talking about this since she first got in the headlines over a year ago. Her first thing was she wanted Trump in court on May 20th, Cannonball Day. And now we see how it's really all come together. Again, we just talked about this yesterday, but Cannonball Days to remember the changing of Ignatius of Loyola's life, the founder of the Jesuits when he was shot. And again, just another, they keep bringing this up. It's like, okay, it's obvious that this is where they're going with this. And it's just right there. Roosevelt shot Milwaukee, Eileen Cannon. You're watching Fox News. They keep telling you about things about Marquette University, the Jesuit school. It's just Jimmy Butler, one of the Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler are like the most famous Marquette basketball players. And I realize that they have a new ad out that came out on 1/3 with Jimmy Butler and the Butler from the French House of Prince of or the Butler, Jeffrey Butler from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Trump did an episode of that back in the day. I wrote about that in my last book, but we're going to get to this thing they put out with those two Butlers. And just how perfect they got all this stuff, you guys. Just what a show it all is. You know what I hate about the masses is when they can't explain any of this away, then what they always go to is like, well then, okay, what are you going to do about it? Can you take this in the courtroom and get them shut down today? It's like, okay, what am I going to do about it? Well, I'm teaching you about it so you're aware of it. And if enough people were aware of it, they wouldn't get fooled by this shit. And then they'd stop voting for this shit. And then they might overthrow this shit. Like Thomas Jefferson said there had to be a revolution every 19 years to preserve freedom. Look that up if you didn't know that. Every 19 years, that's the cycle of the moon. And 19 is a special number to them. That's why this thing happened on a 19-date numerology. And Teddy Roosevelt did die in the year 1919 on January 6th at age 60. Again, the Jesuits, their first decade, an order of 60 members. But yeah, we've been talking about Cannonball Day and the death of Billy Cannon and the number 54 for years. I went down to New Orleans and talked about that in 2020. The Trump shooting came 54 days after Cannonball Day, synced up with his wife's 54th birthday. Again, Jesuit Order 54. So how can it all be a coincidence over and over? And again, Trump declared Operation Warp Speed May 15th, 2020, the anniversary of Claydex. That was also the 48th anniversary of George Wallace being shot on the campaign trail. The 48th anniversary when Donald Trump equals 48, and this town of Butler is named after a man who died at age 48. And Trump could potentially become the 48th president if Biden doesn't finish. We've been talking about this for a long time. Cleveland equals 48, the last split-term president. Wall equals 48. Trump's Mr. Wall. Maybe it's 48. He'll get the wall done, and then he'll bring in the total tyranny, and nobody can escape. You can't flee. The wall. Trump's wall has you all the way in. They'll have it all painted with LeBron James and Matt Damon. Remember, again, Cleveland equals 48 like Wall, like Donald Trump, like James. Trump has his convention in Cleveland in 2016 after LeBron wins the finals on the real King James's birthday. And then the show The Wall comes out. And then Matt Damon on the 48th day of the year, Hollywood releases The Wall. And by the way, Hollywood also has the 48 connection. And there's been a million 48 things. But the thing about Gerald Wallace and Operation Warp Speed had to do with shots, right? A different type of shots, but it was also military. Military equals 107 like shooting. All the shots came from the military bases and mostly first out of Michigan. But from Trump declaring Operation Warp Speed to the shooting was 1,521 days. That's when Ignatius of Loyola was shot on Cannonball Day in the year 1521, May 20th, 1521. Eileen Cannon first wanted Trump in court on May 20th. He was in the New York trial, though. And you'd be getting Eileen Cannon headlines nonstop about Trump. Again, that's how you see it. Trump has all these different legal things going on, but they're telling you so much about Eileen Cannon all the time, and people aren't getting the joke. Adolfo Nicholas equals 54. He was the superior general who died recently on Cannonball Day. 54 and Cannonball Day comes up all the time. New Orleans equals 54. Joe Burrow goes to LSU as Billy Cannon dies for Cannonball Day. And then Joe Burrow repeats Billy Cannon's history, winning the championship and the Heisman, beating Clemson and New Orleans, which equals 54. Then, in his 54th season, takes the Bengals to the Super Bowl and plays all four of Billy Cannon's NFL teams in the playoffs. Same stuff over and over. Now, and for all these years, sports, politics, Jesuits, Masons, same number rituals. Seriously, guys, 54 days after Cannonball Day, this happened. Synced with his wife's 54th birthday. And remember, Melania Trump has this parallel to Grover Cleveland's wife. He had like this mail order bride from that part of the world over by where the other wall is, the Berlin Wall, where all this mischief's going on with Russia and Ukraine by the same Jesuit code. Because the Jesuits are the New World Order. They're playing us all for fools. Okay, I put out a quick video on this last night when I got wind of this. BlackRock, which has 78 offices, they did an ad with a school where this shooting happened, filming a teacher, and in the background there were other students, and one of those other students was the shooter. And it's like, okay, so the commercial wasn't like about the shooter, but it happened to be about a teacher. Again, just think about the odds of these things just happening, right? It's like, how many classrooms are there that could have been filmed? How many teachers work in the U.S.? You're talking a huge number of people between professors and all the levels of education. There are so many teachers in this nation. Pretty astronomical odds. And BlackRock, a partner with the World Economic Forum, which is run by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab. Anyway, just this big 78 Jesuit thing, 78 offices, BlackRock Inc., 78, like Butler, like Jesuit, like Kennedy, like the 78 tarot cards, and the top cards, Trump cards, as Trump turned 78. Again, the shooting 78 days after his wife's birthday. After this whole New York case where he's been having all these relations or supposedly, which he denies. But anyway, can't be good for the married life, you wouldn't think. And these people are in arranged marriages. It's a whole other subject. But just New York, Jesuit, big time number. And I'll skip that for now. We already talked about all the 40 business with the market at 40,000. If you drop the ink part, BlackRock alone is 76. And we've talked about both of these numbers, 78 and 76, in great detail with the shooting. The shooter's name 76, Donald John Trump 76. Huge number with the ongoing Joker theme. Again, which is connected to Batman, who has the most famous butler. Joker has the 76 gematria. The whole courtroom thing where this connects in with Trump appearing in court on what would have been Heath Ledger's 44th birthday on 4/4, right after they filmed the latest scene there. Skull and Bones being part of the storyline of Batman. Again, the 33rd episode of the original TV series. It's revealed that Bruce Wayne's father created Skull and Bones at Yale. J.D. Vance went to Yale. Again, I mean, this is stuff's everywhere when you just... His high school where this was filmed, Bethel Park High School equals 202, which is also like Skull and Bones. And you had the Batman shooting on the 202nd day of the year, July 20th, 2012. It was a leap year. Normally that's the 201st day of the year, July 20th, the moon landing date. But that year was a leap year, so it was the 202nd. And then Sandy Hook ended up coming 201 months after Dune Blaine and had a lot of the Skull and Bones stuff as well. And again, that year, the Batman film changed the neighborhood on the map from South Hinckley to Sandy Hook. George H.W. Bush, Skull and Bones, remember, born on the day, leaving 202 days left in the year. I noticed how this verse in Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. This verse has a 202 connection. I thought that was interesting. Like chosen ones. It makes some sense. The things they carry out. Remember, they took down the Georgia Guidestones on Skull and Bones member George W. Bush's 76th birthday on 7/6. And that was 201 days after the Pope's birthday, or the 202nd day of his age. And they were put up on March 22nd, 322. And Skull and Bones is known as Order 322. And again, Yale's 322 years old right now. And in the Dark Knight Rises movie, where the Steelers are in the scene where the stadium blows up, again, the shooting was near Pittsburgh. You see the section 322 right before it explodes. Goes with Skull and Bones, the history of Batman, again, how old Yale is right now, a number of rituals we've talked about with a number of politicians, including Trump, Biden, and all of them in the past. 322 is a big number. And DC, the 202 area code. And don't forget the 202nd minute of the day is 3:22 a.m. This 202, 322 thing. BlackRock, you guys, was established in 1988. In light of how they're bringing this in with the Trump assassination, BlackRock established in 88. That was the year that Trump was asked by Oprah. Oprah's in the color purple. Purple has that 88 connection. Oprah on Bush's birthday this year was reportedly hospitalized. That news broke on Bush's birthday this year, speaking of Skull and Bones. But Oprah asked Trump in 88 if he'd want to be president. Remember, Oprah equals 58, like Oprah Winfrey, like how he took office after winning the 58th election. Again, Freemasonry, Secret Society, Kobe Bryant, special number. Stars, Gregorian, Zodiac, calendar, they're all 58. Calendar's named after the Pope. Right now, the Pope's name, Pope Francis, 58. Again, Kobe's death so synced with him. Kobe, the Lakers, they wear purple. Shaq went to LSU. Kobe died right after LSU won the championship in 2020 on 113. All these things are connected. I went down to the LSU campus right as Kobe died and was blown away that they had this huge billboard tribute up to Kobe. And I was like, oh, yeah, Shaq played here in the purple and gold. But I remember I'd already booked it to go down to New Orleans to educate about all the people that died in NO for that rigged championship for Joe Burrow over Clemson in tribute to Billy Cannon. I mean, here we are 4 years later, talking about all the same numbers, all the same patterns. They just did a new color purple, too, for Oprah. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. She was hospitalized to the Cleveland Clinic, you guys. The Cleveland Clinic is where she got put on Bush, the one who's dead's birthday. Think about it. 88, when she asked Trump in 88 if he wants to be president, and now he's trying to become the nation's first Grover Cleveland, and he had his last convention last time 8 years ago in Cleveland. That was all synced with LeBron. Now it's LeBron, father and son. Now they synced up this year's NBA Finals. They had Game 4 on Trump's 78th birthday. The finals started 78 days after Trump's son's 18th birthday, as the Celtics again get the 18th championship in their 78th season, when the finals again on their 78th birthday. Again, his son has citizenship in Slovenia because of Melania, just like Luka Doncic, the star of Dallas. And Jason Tatum got his 45th playoff loss on Trump's birthday, the only game that Boston lost. I mean, what a joke. But yeah, isn't it sick, man? See, Oprah. See, at the end, there's still a pecking order to this, too, and you always see it's racist, too. I mean, I don't think I've ever talked, ever, about a white person who died for a black celebrity. Actually, hold on. It would have been LeBron. It's happened with LeBron. It might have happened with some others, too, because I've covered a lot of stuff with others, but it's a very rare circumstance when it happens. LeBron opened up that school and one of the kids gets beat to death there. That was one of many examples. A lot of sick stuff's happened with LeBron. He's one of the – LeBron is straight. You know, when I went down to L.A. last spring and educate people on the street, I had some employees come over and talk to me, and they said that they really appreciate it because they always knew something was up with LeBron, and they can't wait till he's out of town because he does all kinds of creepy-ass stuff in that locker room they're not supposed to talk about. I was like, thanks for saying that much to me. I appreciate it. But the point I'm also going to make is, I mean, there have been a lot of black people that have died for white people over the years in this pecking order of big fish eat small fish in terms of how they sacrifice by the code. But yeah, look at it. On Bush's birthday, you know, the year before that, they were doing the Joker ritual with in the French Open with the Joker tennis player and then the basketball star. Wait until we bring it all together. This Butler shooting was 303 days after Jimmy Butler's birthday. That's the Denver area code. The night of the shooting, you had UFC in Colorado for the first time in 8 years, and the winner was from Milwaukee, and she trains with the 303 training unit or something like that. Jimmy Butler lost to the Joker, and last year we were showing how the NBA Finals and playoffs were synced with Trump's court appearance in New York while they were filming the Joker scene and what they did in the finals. I mean, it was But yeah, when I saw this, that it was the Cleveland Clinic, I just said, my God, man. Again, on a Republican, on number 41's birthday, Skull and Bones member, Republican Party, former CIA head, 43rd vice president to Ronald Reagan, the Reagan parallel with Trump. This is the day that Oprah Winfrey, the news broke that she got hospitalized. Said Oprah Winfrey found herself in the emergency room this week. See, one of these vague stories, according to multiple reports, but her fans can breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, my sister must have been. I'm telling you, if Oprah died, my sister would be sadder than if I died. Guaranteed. That's because, per USA Today, Winfrey was treated for a case of gastroenteritis, if that's how you say it. Glad I don't have that problem. Eat better. Gastroenteritis, according to the Cleveland Clinic, is a digestive infection caused by inflammation in the stomach and intestines. Winfrey's friend and co-host on CBS Morning spoke about the illness on Tuesday morning. She had some kind of stomach flu stuff was coming out of both ends. Pretty sure she was real big on getting the thing too, wasn't she? The poison's got that Gematria 88. Trump, Trump was the father of the jab. He is Mr. 88. Nonstop 88 rituals with Trump, including the Mar-a-Lago raid on 88. Okay, so again, what are the odds, you guys? BlackRock, big partner with Jesuit Klaus Schwab, and now this too. I mean, same names is coming up again and again. Again, Elon Musk. Look it up, you guys. 78th anniversary of Nikola Tesla's death. Supposedly passes Jeff Bezos to become the world's richest man for the first time. Tesla 78, like Jesuit 78. This guy, so many puppet string rituals. They showed him at the end of the 90s on CNN as supposedly one of 200 new .com millionaires, or maybe it was billionaires. I can't remember if it was millionaires or billionaires at the time, but very wealthy people from the .com. CNN says, hey, look, here's a guy who we found, Elon Musk. And then it's just a really short interview. And what's Elon Musk says? He's like, with my money, I'm going to buy a DeLorean. Like Back to the Future. Or hold on, maybe it wasn't a DeLorean. I got to go back and look. Maybe it was a McLaren. I forget. He's going to get some kind of rare car. But of course, just his first thing is he's going to buy a car, right? Now he's Mr. Electric Car. He's also Mr. Other things, Neuralink by the numbers, Dick Rocket launching company by the numbers. But or that's actually Jeff Bezos's. Never mind. He's the one doing the Mike Myers Dick Rocket jokes. This guy's doing the SpaceX ones. They're almost as bad. But yeah, just in terms of these stooges being by the numbers always. He's got to do $45 million a month for Trump after the assassination scare, which came 45 days after JFK's birthday anniversary, which is being compared to that because it was a headshot. And again, right after just everything 45. Rudy Giuliani doesn't get his bankruptcy 45 days from his birthday connected to Trump. The trial where he's found guilty ends 45 days after it began, where Stormy Daniels took the stand 45 days after her 45th birthday. We've been talking about 45 in Trump since he started running with all the rituals. But one of the most blatant of all, when he was called the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, when Berlin Wall equals 45. Run it the other way, Berlin Wall also equals 63, like 2016 was the 63rd triangular number. That's why they did Muhammad Ali dirty at on June 3rd that year, because the Prophet Muhammad died at age 63. And sadly, we said Muhammad Ali was going to die at 74 years before it happened, because Muhammad's 74, like killing and a whole lot more. They had to kill him in the desert in Phoenix like he was Muhammad the Prophet. But 2016, the 63rd triangular number, that was a big pairing that year, and Trump was part of it. Trump's predicted programming to win that election was the Serta and where he's talking to sheep 11 and 9. Trump talking to sheep 11 and 9, called Pres-elect on 119. Tarot cards 119. Again, the upcoming election, the winner goes with the 119th Congress. So obvious. But 45 million. 45 million. And let me see it. Yeah, his book, the guy who was picked on the same day that J.D. Vance was picked as the VP nominee on the same day that Elon Musk pledged this $45 million a month. Look, Musk born June 28th, 71. I got censored on his 46th birthday. I got totally deleted on that day for the first time ever, which was devastating because I lost over 5,000 videos and what I dedicated, like all of my, all of my, what was it at the time? Started in 2013, so it was just shy of 4 years into the work, but I'd been grinding for those 4 years. If you were here in the early days, I just put out videos all around the clock. I didn't even like sleep. Plus, I had my other life to attend to. But yeah, and ever since he's taken over Twitter, I've had a lot more censorship on there than before. I can't write phrases like "synagogue of Satan" anymore. That's now automatically blocked. That violates Elon Musk's terms of service, Mister Free Speech. Can't talk about Revelation and the synagogue of Satan. Can't even talk about the Bible. This guy. But it stands out to me that the J.D. Vance, his book that, put him on the map, sold a gazillion copies, Hillbilly Elegy, it came out on Musk's 45th birthday. It's like, we'll see how these stories end up intertwining. It's interesting. I mean, obviously they're part of Team Trump right now, but I haven't read the book, and I haven't done enough research or know. I mean, we talked about J.D. Vance turning 40 and how his name's got the double 40 connection and a few other things yesterday. But I don't know the deeper leaks right now where he fits in with Musk. It's obvious something's brewing there, though. And again, if you've been watching the Fox News coverage, I've now seen him reference it multiple times. They want you to know about this Saint Joan of Arc chapel that came over from France that is at the Jesuit campus Marquette, where Jimmy Butler played after the Butler shooting. Jimmy Butler, who lost to the Joker last year in the finals, sync with Trump. And again, we'll revisit that. But, oh, damn. Hold on. She died at age 19? Is this true? She died at age 19. Again, just the 19 date numerology for the Trump shooting. Roosevelt dead in 1919. Supposedly she's born January 6th. That's pretty rare to have somebody's birthday from that time period, but maybe she was. January 6th again. Teddy Roosevelt dead on January 6th. The Jesuits from France, Pope Francis. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt has the same birthday as Philly too, but yeah, the death at 19, that is interesting. You know what else? The name Joan has the gematria 13, just going with the 13 stripes. Joan's got the 40 for the 40th parallel, 68 like 1968, 23 like Donald. Huh. Yeah, I've now seen Fox News bring this up multiple times, and we're only in day 2 of the coverage, so I'm like, okay, they really want their viewership to know about this thing that's there. I bet there's something massive. It's how it is. It's like it's the Riddler from Batman. If you're just watching with eyes to see, like you got the They Live glasses every day, they're just dropping stuff in front of your face. I don't think the Jesse Waters of the world are in on that. They're teleprompter readers and they have their little dumb opinions. Jesse Waters really does symbolize the times we live in. Just like not serious at all, hardly believable, goofy. Like you can tell that he was born into it. He didn't earn it. It's like, where's the talent with this guy? I mean, he tries to be funny and it's just like pathetic. It's like this guy has the like intellect and wit of a small child. I apologize to small children. It's just like, how's this guy in prime time? God, I've been saying that all the Fox News people have just been a joke forever. Sean Hannity should just be ashamed of himself. You guys go back to Sean Hannity when George W. Bush was the president. Every day he'd be on saying, if you don't support this president, you should move out of America. You know what? If you don't support the president, you should just keep quiet until we have another one. It's wrong to be an American and say bad things about a sitting U.S. president. I mean, did you ever watch Sean Hannity in the 8 years Obama was in office? Every night he's just like trying to fire a missile through his head. Just he wants to kill him. He hates him. It's like, this is weird. Just a few years ago, did you hear this guy? If you don't like the president, you should move out of the U.S. You should be quiet. You should never demean the president. Now you have and now Joe Biden, he's violating his rule every day with Joe Biden too. Come on. We all heard what you said, Sean Hannity. These people aren't serious. Why does anyone take these people seriously? They don't mean anything they say. They're just on TV bullshitting you. They're like the political parties that just totally change, do 180s over time. It's like, oh, they used to be the party for the war. Now this is the party for the war. All right, check this out with Jimmy Butler and Jeffrey, the butler from Fresh Prince. Hulu put out this ad on March 1st. Okay, that day can be written 1/3 like 13. It's also the 61st day of the year like assassin. Big number with the finals. 61's the 18th prime. Remember, the Celtics got their 18th championship. Vance equals 18. Picked as the nominee 18 days for his birthday after the shooting on the day, leaving 171 days left in the year, which is the 18th triangular number. Just like Jerry Allen West equals 171. And he went 1-8 in championships and died right before the Celtics got their 18th championship in their 78th season, dying while the Celtics were still on 78 wins for the year. But anyway, Jimmy Butler, again, played at Marquette, the Jesuit school. Butler. You say the word Butler in U.S. and it's Family Feud or the game where you got to pick things. What do you associate with Butler? You know, an average American's going to end up yelling out the name Jimmy Butler. So look at this. From that ad to the release of this, it's 135 days. Remember, Central Intelligence Agency's 135, Bavaria's 135. It's a big number up in Philly where Kamala was that day. We got the Kobe father death now. This family's connected to that number. Again, just not an accident that Kamala was in Philly or that the A's from the Bay who started in Philly were beating up the Phillies near Joe Biden's hometown. Again, this number, special one. And with regards to Bavaria, again, the Illuminati founded with 13 families and established May 1st, 1776. Another 76, just like America, 64 days later in 1776. But yeah, this op right here. And then Jimmy Butler, his birthday, he's 34 years old, which is a murder number. It goes with the 34 charges. But anyway, his birthday is the day that McKinley died. McKinley was assassinated and then replaced by Theodore Roosevelt. McKinley was the 25th president, and Trump is 25. And again, J.D. Vance is the youngest nominee since Theodore Roosevelt. There's a major parallel here. Jimmy Butler, his name in gematria equals 149. His birthday can be written 14/9. Again, JFK born on the 149th day of the year, the 35th prime. Jimmy Butler lost to the Joker last year in the finals. And again, Denver is the 303 area code. This shooting was 303 days after his birthday, and that's where the UFC fight was. And Dana White, who runs the UFC, opened up for Trump, or he's going to open up for Trump before his remarks later this week. And again, the woman who won the fight, who was the headliner, Rose, when Rose is the symbol of secrecy. That's the root word of Rosicrucian. But again, she's from Milwaukee. And she got her 14th career win, becoming 14-6 like Trump's birthday, like the flag's birthday. 14 days after her birthday in Colorado where Trump won his 14th Amendment case. And again, if you look at who she fights for, it's like training room 303, something like that. Training group 303. 303 training block. I forget, whatever. But they reference the 303 where the fight was. And again, that was a big ritual last year in the finals. And now, again, just how it all comes together. Sports and politics, always talking about this. William McKinley, for the record, equals 171, the 18th triangular number. We just talked about this. The shooting on the day, leaving 171 days left in the year with the parallels to Theodore Roosevelt and McKinley. And again, Jimmy Butler's birthday is the day that McKinley died. In Buffalo, New York, where Trump accidentally referred to 9/11 as 7/11. Buffalo, where Timothy McVeigh's from, where they had the top shooting on Israel's 74th birthday. The man who played Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince, Joseph Marcel. Look at his name gematria. Joseph Marcel, 137. That's like the date of the shooting, 13/7. 56. Always special, like 1968, the year of the dual assassinations of RFK and MLK, 56 years ago. The Columbia protests and the raid on the dorm, 56 years to the day. Obama, the winner of the 56th election, who went to Columbia. Like Shirley Chisholm, who became the first black woman to become U.S. Senator 56 years ago in 68. Joseph Marcel, 214. We've been talking a lot about that with JFK dead in the 214 area code, Dallas at Parkland, when the Parkland High School shooting was on February 14, 214, the 45th day of the year, and the time of number 45, Trump. And they began tearing down the school on his birthday this year, Trump. We said, there's something up with that. on this game in Dallas where Dallas gets their 118th career playoff win or franchise playoff win when Dallas, Texas is 118 and Celtics is 118 and Death's 118 and Homicide's 118. Tatum got his 45th loss. Tatum finished the playoffs 68 and 45, and it began on the anniversary of RFK's death in 68. Basketball equals 68, like mathematics, like Catholicism. Big time number 68. Helios, planet, all things, all time synced up with the relationship between the earth and the sun and the stars and the planets and the moon. Again, if you guys have not read my first book, I talked about how they turned astrology and the calendar and essentially sun worship into this system we have synced up with the language. I mean, it really is truly brilliant what they put together. It's amazing that they did this back when they did, but it's obvious they did because it's being carried out. And again, for all people are like, well, I need that question answered before I'll pay attention to this anymore. It's like, you're never going to get that question answered unless you push hard enough on the people who could say something about this. Like the people who are in high positions of power now. If enough people are putting pressure on all of the lever controllers of society, somebody's going to break. But yeah, funny enough, his name, Joseph Marcel, it's the exact same as Church of Satan in every cipher. And I'm not saying that means he's a member of the Church of Satan, but who knows? Maybe he is. We do know, though, the Church of Satan is very important to the rituals with Trump. Again, the highest degree of the Church of Satan is mega. Trump had the joke at the White House Correspondents' Dinner when Obama was president, April 30th, 2011. That was the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan. Obama joked that Trump would be the next president. It was 45 days before Trump's birthday. Then this happens. Right now, the Church of Satan's 58 years old at the time this happens. Remember, Trump won the 58th election in the Mega 58 ritual. From for the record, from the Church of Satan's 58th birthday to this shooting was 74 days later. Like how Trump left office at 74 and can return at age 74. Remember, Jesus and Lucifer both equal 74. One's, associated with evil, but also venerated by Masonry, as Albert Pike showed in Morals and Dogma. Masonic occult, they equal 74, just like Jesus, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables. Again, also like Lucifer, like gematria, like English, like energy, like killing, like stabbing, like holiday, like Independence Day, like 7/4, the day that 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died. Again, 7/4, again, going with Caesar, the day to remember his death on the 74th day of the year. So it was 74 days after the Church of Satan's birthday that this happened to Trump. And, the Will Smith piece, with this being the butler from Fresh Prince, remember, Will Smith got the Lifetime Achievement Award at the MTV Movie Awards the same day that Will Smith of the Saints died in New Orleans, where the Super Bowl will be this year. And that was right after Will Smith did the movie Focus, where it has to do with sports and gambling and numbers. And he talks about how you can use numbers to manipulate. If you've never seen that movie Focus with Will Smith, you should check it out. And we all know what they did to Sidney Poitier. We predicted why he'd die at 94 in connection to Will Smith. And sadly, it happened. Again, those guys are connected through movie history. And now, again, Will Smith won Best Actor at the 94th Academies, and Sidney Poitier died at 94. And the film that he won Best Actor for was 94 minutes long and is about saving Catholic nuns in the middle of the Arizona desert. And Roman Catholic Church has that 94. But Will Smith was totally synced with Kobe's death, too. He went from Philly to LA like Kobe. But yeah, this 214 thing. Remember, from Pennsylvania's last birthday to the shooting was 214 days. The Republican Party equals 214, like Ronald Reagan. Again, Kennedy shot in the 214 area code. Dead at Parkland. Parkland shooting on 214. Again, while Trump was president. 45th day of the year, number 45. Now this shooting 45 days after Kennedy's birthday anniversary, when RFK Jr., his relative, is in the race, and we're having assassinations again with the Kennedy in it. But he officially filed his paperwork on April 5th. We talked about this then. 4-5. You know what I mean? All right. Let me pull this post up from last year. The day the Nuggets closed out the Lakers, they did it with the symbolic 1-1-3. Weren't we just talking about the NBA and 1-1-3? And we were talking about how, oh, Joker's advancing, the Joker and tennis is advancing. We saw this coming a mile away by the time they did it when the Nuggets won the finals and Joker wins the French Open and they do it within like a day of each other. Again, they're both from Serbia too. Go figure. And when there's an image of Joker, the child or the basketball player when he was a small child, 5 years old, in a Denver Nuggets sweatshirt in Serbia next to a kid holding up a tennis racket. I mean, that's how scripted this stuff is. But when the Nuggets advanced over the Lakers, their record became 88 and 138. Right. And at the time this was going on, you had Trump doing this Joker thing with New York in the courtroom. Remember, Trump equals 88. Donald Trump equals 138. And the Joker movie comes out on the day leaving 88 days left in the year. It did in 2019 with Joaquin Phoenix, and it's coming out on the same day right before the election this year, the day leaving 88 days left in the year. But yeah, you got this total tribute to Trump, and the Nuggets with Joker advanced 48 days after Trump's April 4th day in court. Donald Trump 48. The NBA Finals 48. That's what they advanced to. Hollywood 48. Illuminati 48. Again, this town of Butler named after a man who died at age 48. It was the 76th anniversary season. Donald John Trump, Joker 76. I mean, talking about the same thing now with what they've encoded. And well, we're always talking about the same things. Denver advanced 23 days before Trump's upcoming birthday. Donald Joker sweep, all 23. They swept him. Nuggets improved to 94 and 131 in the playoffs to go to the finals. Denver 94, championship 131. And I mean, I'm showing you guys the same things every year, right? Let's go to StatMuse right now and look at what the Mavericks all-time playoff record is after losing the finals to the Celtics. You're going to see they're on 131 playoff losses. We call that the championship number. Championship equals 131, like Super Bowl. Comes up every year. All the sports, college, pro. It's amazing how they just do it year after year. Pay tribute to the same numbers. About the same thing for a decade. It's like, how is the world not caught on? Dallas Mavericks playoff record. But yeah, you're going to see they have 118 wins. Celtics equals 118, like Dallas, Texas. It's a number of death. 131 is number of championships. That is their playoff record as they get beat. Again, by the Boston Celtics. Boston, the 617 area code, closing it out on June 17th. And Jason Tatum's 113th playoff game when 617 against the 113th prime. Oh, Joke! It was the Nuggets' 56th season, and Joker broke a 56-year-old playoff record with the triple doubles. They advanced on the Joker's 93rd day of his age. Nuggets equals 93, like Saturn, the keeper of time. It's yeah, there's even more to it. I noticed I was going to go back and read more of my old posts because we were documenting it, but here, I'll show you the problem if you go to my website and search for this. Or hold on. Joker, Trump, NBA. The problem is I did a lot of the posts. Well, I searched the wrong thing there. The problem is I did a lot of the things as private posts for the people on Patreon. But it was just going on the whole time, you guys. It's the way it is. Scripted year after year, and it will be. And when people watch it, they're like, well, so when's this going to stop? Well, when do you think it's going to stop? You think it's going to stop unless somebody makes them stop? I mean, they do it for a reason. Spells and spelling. The cabal and Kabbalah. This is their method to their madness, and apparently it's working for them. So I don't see why they would switch up their tactics. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it all out there for that one, though, for the most part, at least. And yeah, again, just Trump with his shots thing. Warp speed 107, like John Fitzgerald Kennedy, like shooting like Saturday. It was all 107 when he did warp speed on the anniversary of George Wallace getting shot, who he's been compared to. And again, that was the 48th anniversary from Operation Warp Speed back to George Wallace, 48 years. Again, this number very connected to Trump that we've been talking about for a long time. But that was also right before Cannonball Day. And again, from him declaring the shots thing to being shot, 1,521 days. At least so we're told. We talked about how 49 is a special number. Notice it is 49 months as well. 21 weeks and it was 217 weeks and 2 days The 217 is interesting. That's typically the 202nd day of the year, July 21st. Last year, San Francisco's a 202 city. Last year, Tony Bennett, who left his heart in San Francisco, died on that day. But it's also, that would also be the 218th week as well. And that's interesting because Trump is also, he has a lot of 218 rituals. His presidential alert that he's the godfather of goes out at 218. That reminds me, the Joker movie comes out on 10/4, and the shooter's name has the 104 in it as well. So yeah, I got to leave it there. I went overtime. I got to start our Patreon stream, but things aren't too pressing on Patreon with not a lot going on in sports. Shout out to Open Up, always with the generosity. He says, look into thine ears shall be bleed. I'm glad you brought this up. I saw your comment, and I did pull up this, and I bookmarked it to look at earlier. I read the thing, and I said, oh, that's interesting with this whole Marilyn Manson angle. Again, Marilyn Manson had the music video out when Trump was elected where Trump's assassinated, and assassination equals 191, and this shooting did happen on the 191st day of Marilyn Manson's age, who's a member of the Church of Satan. And Thine Ears Shall Bleed came out this year. It runs 102 minutes. There's that Art of War. In 1860 America, so Civil War time, a minister's family hears an unexplained noise from Woods. The first leader of the Secret Service last name was Woods. We looked this up, that we saw this. It's 159 years like Donald Trump. Noise from Woods during their wagon journey. Mistaking it for divine presence, they worship until realizing its sinister nature. I mean, isn't it perfect, you guys? Marilyn Manson's song where Trump gets assassinated is You Say God, I Say Satan. God and Satan both equal 55 and 10. 55 is the 10th triangular number and the 10th Fibonacci number. Marilyn Manson's 55 years old right now. A lot of people are talking about Trump as a messiah or blessed by God. These conversations have been going on for a while around Trump. Again, he left office at 74. He's coming back. Jesus equals 74, like cross, like Messiah, like Gospels. That Rolling Stone article we talked about from last year, 2023, with Trump being compared to Jesus, and they did it on April 3rd, the anniversary of supposedly Jesus being crucified, according to science, which they discovered in 2012. And it was Rolling Stone that had that article comparing Trump to Jesus when Jesus pushes the stone out of the way of the cave tomb. Thine ears shall bleed. I mean, you got to give it to these people are damn good at what they do. They are. I know this is not an accident either. It's just, when did this come out? Thine ears shall bleed. Is it coming out? Has it not come out yet? Oh, it's a trailer. This is coming. Oh my. All right. The official trailer a month ago. It's a minute 49 long. You guys get it? JFK, 149th day. McKinley on 14/9. Oh, it releases on July 9th, you guys. 7/9. The town of Butler's on the 79th Meridian West. Society of Jesus 79, like murder. It can also be written 9/7. As I say that, I realize I forgot to cover something. I got to cover one more thing before I start the Patreon stream. Again, I had a late start because I ended up doing a relatively longer decode on this, and I was moving slower, I guess, than I intended to. But I should have got that done faster. Getting old here. I'm almost 41, you guys. 5 more days of being 40. Love how the Mega 40 ritual happens while I'm 40. How wild. 41 sure to be a banger. Okay. So you see CNN's headline, right? Trump shares vaccine skepticism on call with RFK Jr. in since deleted video. Remember, Trump back in 2012 was kind of questioning vaccines, and of course RFK Jr. has been doing that. And it was around the time Google took down all the questioning vaccine content on their platform. But the topic here is vaccine skepticism. 181 days after RFK's 70th birthday. Who remembers the pandemic and how much we talked about 70 with all the vaccine rituals? It's like Sanjay's getting his 56 days from his birthday on the 70 date numerology. Kamala's getting hers 70 days from her birthday on the 56th date. There were a bunch of people that did that. But it's 181 days after his birthday, right? Vaccine skepticism. And as we'll get to, 181's the 42nd prime number, and that's a very important old jabberooski number there. There's a reason they started first testing these jabs in the 42nd state, Washington, in Bill Gates' backyard where the big old needle is, the Space Needle. But yes, 181's the 42nd prime. Vaccine has the gematria 42. Again, we have to make this point. When RFK Jr. had his anti-mandate gathering in D.C., which was a great idea. I'm totally loving the idea. There should have been way more of them all the time. A guy like him who has all the money, man. If I had Kennedy money, I'd be out every day. My voice would sound worse than RFK. If you guys have ever seen me pound payment, I end up sounding like RFK because I always wear out my voice. I even wear out my voice sitting here talking to my damn computer. I need some kind of pill that takes out the passion so I cannot ruin my throat. It's the real problem here. I just can't control myself. I'm like a rabid dog. Anyway, when RFK Jr. had his rally, remember, he went to Georgetown Prep. He had it on January 23rd, the anniversary of Georgetown being established. And just everything RFK Jr. does, it's like you love it, but then you see what he does, it's like, wait a minute, this is another Jesuit ritual. He's like playing the Jesuit good cop. So then CNN and Fox News can both refer to him as a Looney Tune and a whack job, even though he's saying the only things that are true. It's all part of the game. That's how they do it. That's how the programming works. They're like, oh, I heard those were whack job ideas. It's like, did you listen to him? Well, I don't have an attention span to listen to the 30 minutes he was talking about. Sean Hannity, he said it probably wasn't Sean Hannity, but it could be any of these pundits they bring on any time of day. All these more and more women with big old Adam's apples. Where are they coming from? Fox News has the history of that. Check out this dime piece we got for you, man, watching Fox News. How you like the Adam's apple on her? And you know what? Some women do have Adam's apples, just way too many on Fox News. Something's up. Anyway, I need to get to the point I'm trying to make. Georgetown. RFK Jr. had his ritual there. But go back to January 10th, 2017, well before that, 10 days before Trump took office, Georgetown had a pandemic preparedness conference. Just like how Georgetown simulated January 6th. Look it up. They did it. They did it on June 12th, 2020, the Transition Integrity Project. Biden was going to win. Trump was not going to step down. It was going to lead to deadly violence. Georgetown was all boarded up before anyone. Georgetown, the nation's first Jesuit university. Been there longer than the Feds, the Masons, any of it. But Anthony Fauci, Jesuit educated at Holy Cross, who the whole pandemic was synced with, remember, it was declared 78 days after Fauci's birthday. Wuhan coronavirus 78, like Jesuit, like order out of chaos, like we've been talking about with all this more recent stuff and 1,000 things in between and before that. But Anthony Fauci was there, and he said, in the next administration, we are going to have a major epidemic. And he said he knew that because he'd been there long enough. And long enough was since 1984. And remember, he retired after 38 years, and pandemic equals 38. And we're going to, just 38, DC, the 38th. I'm going to read a little bit of this article real quick, too. I got it before I start the Patreon one. About this comment about 38 different vaccines that Trump said. Again, these people are talking in code. But yes, Georgetown, Jesuit vaccine, they're all 42. If you think that's an accident, think again, because look into who ordered the first vaccine mandate in history. You'll find it was the Catholic Church in the time of the Jesuits, who are very involved in the medical world and the education world. So you can almost rest assured, since they served the Pope, that it was under their influence. And remember, Elvis Presley, who got the first, or who he didn't get the first. Elvis Presley was the celebrity who got the polio vaccine on live TV on Bill Gates' first birthday, and also Jonas Salk's 42nd birthday, years before he died at age 42. That was in his breakout year, 1956, when coronavirus equals 56, like COVID vaccine. Unless you run it the other way, they both equal 70, like how old RFK is at this crucial moment with Trump, who took office when he was 70 years old. The Sanhedrin, like the Jewish power order in the Bible, they roll with 70 members, and then they have 2 extra people. If you look into the Sanhedrin, they're connected to the numbers 70, 71, and 72. Isn't it interesting how Vatican is 71, Catholics or excuse me, Vatican is 70, Catholic 71, Jesuit Order 72. Those are all the numbers of the Sanhedrin. Thank you, Anna in Canada, for that observation the other week. That was a good one. I was reading all about that. I thought, that's wild. I don't think that's an accident because the Jesuits are a Catholic Jewish alliance, and gematria is traditionally a Jewish thing. But yeah, Anthony Fauci was so sure there was going to be a major epidemic, were the words he used at a pandemic preparedness conference. It all unfolded after the Jesuit simulation by Klaus Schwab event 201. But okay, this 42 number, it's a biblical number, right? The Jesuits are Catholic Church responsible for the Bible as we know it. New Testament equals 42. There's 42 generations to Jesus that begin the New Testament in Matthew. The word math is 42. The beast rules for 42 months. From the first pandemic simulation to the day it was declared was 666 days associated with the beast, like 42. Vaccine has the gematria 42, and Sumerian gematria vaccination has the 666 connection. Notice that today, the day of that RFK Jr.'s son supposedly posted this on social media before it was taken down, it was 112 days before the election. Again, November 5th is associated with the Jesuits. It's Guy Fawkes Day. The Jesuits operate in 112 countries. Remember how Catholicism and mathematics overlap in the base ciphers, including the 112. Balfour Declaration set up Israel in a big Jesuit ritual on November 2nd, 112. But mathematics, this ritual with RFK with the 42, 181 days from his birthday, the 42nd prime. Donald Trump, who we said from day one that he was going to be Mr. Bible. We said to expect some crazy biblical stuff in the time of Trump because Holy Bible equals 45 forwards and backwards like Mike Pence. 666, that's biblical. Revelation 121, first case declared, first case in the news in the U.S. and anywhere in the world outside of China, January 21st. Instantly, Sirius XM, channel 121, your nonstop COVID coverage. And it just went on and on and on. But again, that was the day Trump was in Switzerland to gloat about his trade deal. When Event 201, put on by the Jesuit, only had 2 CDCs of the world participating, China and the U.S. Trump gloating about trading with China on the day the pandemic arrives in the U.S. I mean, it's just... And don't forget, it was his 222nd day of his age, and Wuhan coronavirus equals 222, like World Economic Forum, like Order Out of Chaos, like Event 201 spelled out. Like New York, where the simulation was, like where 9/11 happened 222 months before the pandemic was declared. But yeah, just again, to bring it back to these Jesuits, you guys. Fauci, Holy Cross, Trump, Fordham, RFK Jr., Georgetown Prep, on and on and on. Joe Biden, 2 Jesuit prep schools. The pandemic declared 78 days after Fauci's birthday. Trump, 78. Theodore Roosevelt shot in Milwaukee on the day, leaving 78 days left in the year. Trump shot in 78-town Butler, 78 days after his wife. Got to be angry about the Stormy Daniels trial, where Stormy Daniels is another 78, you know? His wife's really storming. I mean, what you guys think about the way things are in this country and like how as time goes on, you know, there's going to be some news release, maybe some like, oh, looks like a real conspiracy angle here. And then that'll become part of culture. I mean, it'll be 30 years from now. People will have the theory that came out about how Melania was mad about Stormy Daniels. She was cooperating with the Ukrainians on some of the Joe Biden money that got offset. You know, just stupid shit will come out. Like, that's what it was. Yeah, she almost got him in Butler over Stormy. They'll never know the number part, though. This part will never be part of the conspiracy theory. But then you'll look at it and you're like, oh, yeah, I see how they cooked that one up. It'll get more dramatic as time. You know, Donald said he didn't sleep with that woman. Melania's going to come out. She's like, oh, not only did he sleep with her, I got it on video. I was part of it. It'll be the number one thing on the internet for the next 48 years. The Donald Trump threesome with Stormy and Melania. Oh, Donald. Nobody will still know about gematria. You know, I'll be here. I'll be 98, just barely hanging on. Respirator. I'll be on one of those 201 respirators. The irony. Here, just to read a little bit of this, and I got to get out of here. I'm going overboard. Trump makes anti-vax comments in phone call with RFK Jr. Let's read it. July 16th, 2024. Donald Trump expressed skepticism. By the way, this is from Time Magazine. Let's never forget that Time Magazine equals 201. They've had some real whoppers with the predictive programming over the years. Donald Trump expressed skepticism about vaccines in a private phone conversation with independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that was posted online. Again, Kennedy 78 got in the race on 4-5. It's all coming together. Former President Trump and Kennedy. Oh, that means today must be 48 days. Interesting. Today's 48 days after JFK's birthday anniversary. We're going to have to pay attention to this count. Former President Trump and Kennedy spoke at the start of the Republican convention where Trump had been officially nominated as the Republican Party's candidate for the third cycle in a row. A video of their call was posted online by someone in Kennedy's orbit. They said it was his son. In the video, Trump expresses concerns related to vaccinating children. Maybe this was published before they did the revelation that it was son. They've said it was Bobby Kennedy III who posted it, which he says can cause babies to change radically. Again, I used to manage an autistic children's home, and I can tell you a lot of parents saw some serious changes around their children in age 2 after they got a series of shots. A lot of people had the same story. It was shared all over on Google by millions of other parents. And, yeah, Google said that was medical misinformation, but it's weird how many people have the same story. It's almost like the authorities are just constantly lying to us and expecting us to just bow down. It's almost like we just keep bowing down and going along with every last lie they feed to us. It's amazing. Goes on, you feed a baby a vaccination. Now, how does this work in the censorship age? If I'm reading these things out and these violate the medical terms of service, do I lose my channel and get suspended for a week? Because we know it's happened like 1,000 times before. It's like, this is the problem with censorship. I can't even read Time Magazine's article. Time Magazine could publish this and get monetized. I can read Time Magazine article and lose my whole channel. What kind of enforcement of speech? This doesn't look like it has anything to do with free speech. It looks like it has everything to do with just controlling speech and who's allowed to talk and who can't. Here we are so buried in the algorithm we can't even get a view. You feed a baby a vaccination that is like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically, Trump tells Kennedy. Isn't it weird that he throws 38 in there? Again, just huge number of death and killing. You might recall right at the beginning of the pandemic, the supposed first Wuhan whistleblower, he died in a big 38 ritual. I believe he died at age 38. No, he died at age 33 on the 38th day of the year. That's what it was. But pandemic 38, like death, like murder, like killing, like RIP, like Pentagon, like DC on the 38th parallel, like this nation always at war since it was created. And then he goes on, and then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? Trump adds that he and Kennedy had talked about vaccines a long time ago. Kennedy apologized for the leak Tuesday morning, posting on social media platform X that he was filming with a videographer at the time of the call and should have ordered the videographer to stop recording immediately. He wrote, I am mortified that this was posted. I apologize to the president. When asked for comment, the Trump campaign. I mean, just, too, like, just everything is just designed to get everybody pointing fingers and be like, oh, bullshit, you leaked that on purpose. You wanted to take him down right now, make him look like a anti-vaccine weirdo who made us all unsafe in the pandemic. You see, you guys, why I'm so annoyed and why I've been doing this every day is because I've realized how bad the populace is and how easily they're taken by the liars. And I know it's a problem for me every time. I mean, what they did after 9/11 was bad for all of us, losing our rights and liberties. And now essentially big tech and big brother collecting all this data and information on us. I mean, that's the nation we live in now. After COVID, you might have lost your business and a whole lot more, your way of life, your confidence. You might have been made needlessly super fearful of something you didn't need to be. It's created a situation where we had to shut down everything and print out a bunch of money, and now everything's way more expensive for it. All based on these agendas, which are lies that everyone goes along with. And now you get the most obvious lie since these last things from COVID and 9/11 and the rest of it. This obvious whopper with Trump comes out with the ear bandage. Again, don't forget ear equals 24 like Butler. And funny enough, ear bandage equals 58, his magic number when he won his 58th election. Again, the Church of Satan is 58 right now. But, yeah, 38. The word election is 38 too. We've been talking about this. The Trump shooting scare was 38 days after RFK being shot, that anniversary, and Ronald Reagan dying. So now we got this with another 38. Just like when JFK died, the quote was from Walter Cronkite, who broke the news some 38 minutes ago. When Dallas won their only game in this year's playoffs, they won by 38 points. Porzingis was the big story of game one, who'd missed 38 days. Or what was it? 38 games, 38 days, one of the two. But then he had to score 63-35 in the first half on his bucket when JFK killed in 63 as number 35 on I-35. Trump, 63 days from the McKinley anniversary was his scare as well. Just, again, the way all this stuff lines up. And we've been calling it since day one that RFK Jr., the way he got in the race, it paid tribute to his dead father, his dead uncle, and it signaled that similar things were to come in this election. And we pointed out how right about this time we'd be passing the 56th anniversary of his father's shooting on 5/6. And remember, coronavirus equals 56 like COVID vaccine. And remember, Sandy Hook was established in 1956 and shot up in 2012, 56 years later. And then Sandy Lindsay was the first vaccinated American on the anniversary of Sandy Hook. It's like Trump with his Operation Warp Speed on the anniversary of George Wallace getting shot. And again, Steph Curry setting the three-point record in New York as Bill de Blasio tells New York to get their third shot. And he's setting the three-point record, passing Jesus Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen, born on the 201st day of the year. I mean, Steph Curry used to be on that $201 million contract, too. Guy born in the same hospital as LeBron. Jerry West dead 201 days from LeBron's birthday this year. So, yeah, okay. I went way overboard, but yeah, again, it's important this information gets out there, and it's hard to get it out there in my position. I mean, I'm censored everywhere. Seems like nothing has any reach anymore. So I do rely on everyone to hit the like and the share and to share the video and get it out there and take clips and segments and upload your a minute here, a minute there, or remember one thing that you thought was key that a friend and family might resonate with. Again, you guys, this world's not going to change. We're going to continue to get treated like we're stupid. And that's the thing. I mean, 95% of the population goes along like they are stupid. But then those of us who just see through it all, I mean, it's just, it's wrong. I mean, it's wrong to see through these obvious lies and then how your fellow man is just so taken by it. It's unbelievable, too. It's unbelievable. Thine ears shall bleed. Wake up, Christians supporting Trump. You might want to. Who's Ben Bigelow? Ben Bigelow. Ben Bigelow. Who is this guy? No, he's not like some big name. Nothing's pulling up here. All right. Yeah, I'll try to look more into that later, see if we can find anything about Ben Bigelow. But Hollywood, predictive programming, fine line, like we said, between Hollywood and what's in the news, just nonstop. All right, open up. Thank you. Thank you for that tip. Thank you again, Mike Rawson, member for 14 months. Big time. Might have the record there. Walata T. Thank you for 10. That's a lot. Zach, I apologize for this being off topic, but why do they sacrifice athletes? Is it to gain the money back? I mean, yeah, there could be multiple reasons, right? If you employ somebody, you can buy an insurance policy on them. I mean, if they make a ton, you can buy a big insurance policy and make a lot of money. That could be one financial motivation. To not have to pay them their pensions, that could be another one. Because maybe there really is something to sacrificing human beings if done in this occult science way and channeling the energy to make things happen. I don't know about that part. I wonder about that. Again, Hollywood did that spoof movie, the horror movie, Cabin in the Woods, where they lure college kids out to the woods in the spring and they have to kill them every year. And the CIA facility is under the cabin. And they explain that they have to do it. Otherwise, like the demon will come up out of the middle of the earth and ruin everything. I remember when I was a child, I got to go to Chinchonita in Mexico. I haven't been many places in my life, but I've been to Chinchonita in Mexico. It was the only time I got, they said I got heat exhaustion. I got really sick that day and passed out and was vomiting. It's the only time in my life I passed out. But I just remember the tour as a kid. They explained how they used to play. If you don't know Chinchonita, it's like where the Mayan pyramids are, or one of the major sets, in the Americas. But they explained that they used to have a game that was similar to basketball, a big hole up on a wall in stone, and there was a game and the winning team is the team that would get sacrificed because they wanted to sacrifice the best for God. And I was thinking about that as a kid. I was like, God, well, I feel like I would definitely play to lose. I feel like I'd definitely have my shot not hitting that day. But again, culture, right? You could be brought up in a culture where you are the man if you play that game and you win that game and you die. And I mean, if that's what everyone's living for, then if that's like every guy's thing to do that in the annual tournament, I mean, if that's your culture, I guess it could become that way. That's what culture is. It'll teach you like that's why we look at certain sites and we're like, how the hell could they ever do that? Well, because that's their culture. They look at us and they're like, what are they doing? You know? So culture just becomes normal. And go back and listen to LeBron James, his interview with JJ Redick before he became the coach. You know, I did a podcast about a month before that, and JJ Redick asked him about his secret to his long career, and he said it 2 times to be clear. He said you have to sacrifice your loved ones, and JJ Redick had like the surprise response, and then LeBron came with it again. That you have to sacrifice your loved ones. So again, I wasn't born into the occult, and we're not. Nobody I know sacrifices people. So I mean, we're on the outside looking in, but it's obvious this is going on. Year after year, same thing. I mean, the example of Jacoby Jones the other day, I feel bad for the person who left a comment that that's got to be a coincidence. You really think a man dying at age 40 in his hometown where the Super Bowl is going to be on the 40th day of the year, just dying out of nowhere is an accident, especially when he wore number 12 and he was the big star in the last Super Bowl in New Orleans 12 years ago? You just think that's an accident? It's amazing how people come here and leave these comments. Ever heard of a coincidence? Like, well, I can tell it's the first time you watch one of my videos. Ever heard of maybe sit down and shut up and learn something and stop calling everything a coincidence? Hey, there's my. You didn't have to do that, Holly. That was very nice of you. If you guys don't know Holly, she proofread my entire first book, which is nearly 800 pages, and helped me out with a lot of typos. And she did a great job. That book would have way more typos if it wasn't for her. So thank you as always, Holly. She says, always thankful for you and all the hard work you put in for all of us. I appreciate that. Thank you. Holly knows it's my birthday in a couple days. 21st day, 7th month. Thank you again, Paula the Kitchen Witch. That was very nice of you. And she's been a member for 17 months. Well, maybe that's the record. Thank you, Paula. All right. I do got to start the stream on Patreon. Thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. I just want to see what they got up in the news right now. If there's any things breaking as we leave here. Secret Service ramped up security after intel of Iranian plot to assassinate Trump. Remember how I was just saying this the other day, like what might happen on July 19th? How it's synced up with RFK's announcement, his first speech. Iran has the gematria 42. You just had the suspicious death of the Iranian president. Okay. Well, that's the breaking news right now. And again, Iran's got the 42 like war, like World War. Bob Menendez found guilty in corruption trial. Schumer calls on him to resign. Interesting. Bob Menendez. All right. Yeah, so the CNN and Fox running the same story. Iranian assassination plot. You guys, here's what I have to say about Iran. It's just like that guy who has the super popular podcast that seems like it's being promoted more than anything by YouTube. He's from Iran. And right now, he's just totally bullshitting on this, and he's just had some serious bullshitters on his show. I get mad just watching all these bullshit people that have a following. It's like, why are people into just like obvious nonsensical bullshit, but then think our work is bullshit? It's like, our work is undeniable. Do you have a brain? But yeah, Iran was overthrown by the CIA in the 50s. I mean, do you really think we ever gave it back? I got all kinds of old posts on the overthrow of Iran by the CIA, and that's If you don't know about that, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's something that's part of the historical record. CIA overthrew Iran in the 50s. New World Order, you guys. It's Jesuit, the CIA, established in that big old 201 Jesuit ritual once upon a time. Remember on the 201st day of the Pope's age when Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America equals 201. Those are the words in their logo, like their motto, the center of a nation, or what is it? The work of a nation, the center of intelligence. Their motto is 201 as well. National intelligence is 201. Intelligence, knowledge. Knowledge relates to 201 in Hebrew gematria. The Illuminati in 201. In the light, in the knowledge. Laying down the code every day. Little jokes every day. And again, just nobody's seeing it, man. It's sad. Almost nobody's seeing it. And a lot of people have chosen not to see it. They've seen this channel, and they've instead of acknowledging what we're proving, while they stay lost in the clouds, never having an answer for anything, they continue to denounce this work. It's funny how people who are lost, who can never provide any answers and are fooled by almost every mainstream agenda, also denounce this work. Shows you that the problem is them. It's an intelligence problem. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you, the Campbell 5150, for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. Until next time, Truth Seeker.